What I wish I knew at 16 about Cleopatra. You won't believe the drama. Cleopatra wasn't just a pretty face. She was a mastermind of power and intrigue. She had a hand in the deaths of 3 of her own siblings. When her first sibling husband, Ptolemy XIII, tried to oust her, Cleopatra hit back hard. Teaming up with Julius Caesar, she defeated Ptolemy, who ended up drowning in the Nile. But she didn't stop there. Cleopatra then married her younger brother, Ptolemy XIV, only to allegedly have him murdered to make way for her son as co-ruler. And let's not forget her sister Arsinoe, who Cleopatra saw as a threat and had executed in 41 BC. Cleopatra's ruthless ambition knew no bounds. Stay tuned for more tales of power and betrayal. Credits History Buffs 2025.
Cleopatra's beauty wasn't her biggest asset. Roman propaganda painted Cleopatra as a debauched temptress who used her sex appeal as a political weapon. But she may have been more renowned for her intellect than her appearance. She spoke as many as a dozen languages and was educated in mathematics, philosophy, oratory, and astronomy. And Egyptian sources later described her as a ruler who elevated the ranks of scholars and enjoyed their company. There's also evidence that Cleopatra wasn't as physically striking as once believed. Coins with her portrait show her with manly features and a large hooked nose, though some historians contend that she intentionally portrayed herself as masculine as a display of strength. For his part, the ancient writer Plutarch claimed that Cleopatra's beauty was not altogether incomparable, and that it was instead her mellifluous speaking voice and irresistible charm that made her so desirable. Credits History Buffs 2025.
Why did more than a dozen of Cleopatra's ancestors marry their own relatives? Let's uncover the secrets of royal marriages. Like many royal houses, the Ptolemaic dynasty kept it in the family. To preserve the purity of their bloodline, they often married within their own kin. More than a dozen of Cleopatra's ancestors tied the knot with cousins or siblings, and get this, Cleopatra's own parents were likely brother and sister. Following tradition, Cleopatra herself married both of her younger brothers. Each served as her ceremonial spouse and co-regent at different times during her reign. It wasn't just about love or preference, it was a strategic move to keep power within the family. So next time you think your family gatherings are complicated, remember the Ptolemaic dynasty.
Cleopatra was not Egyptian. While Cleopatra was born in Egypt, she traced her family origins to Macedonian Greece and Ptolemy I Soter, one of Alexander the Great's generals. Ptolemy reigned Egypt after Alexander's death in 323 BC, and he launched a dynasty of Greek-speaking rulers that lasted for nearly 3 centuries. Despite not being ethnically Egyptian, Cleopatra embraced many of her country's ancient customs and was the first member of the Ptolemaic line to learn the Egyptian language. Credits History Buffs 2025.
Buckle up for a tale of power, betrayal and sibling rivalry like no other. Cleopatra wasn't just the famous Queen of Egypt. She was also one half of a very complicated sibling relationship. Meet her brother Ptolemy XIII. They weren't just family, they were co-rulers. But here's the twist. Instead of ruling together in harmony, they were often at each other's throats.
Cleopatra was smart and ambitious, wanting to rule Egypt her way. Ptolemy, on the other hand, wanted all the power for himself. This led to epic battles, alliances with Romans,
And more plot twists than a soap opera. In the end, Cleopatra's charisma won over Julius Caesar. And Ptolemy, well, let's just say his story didn't end well. Royals, am I right? Oh, who knew history could be so juicy?
If you don't like ancient history but still love powerful alliances, then this story of Cleopatra and Caesar is for you. Cleopatra was in a bit of a pickle. Her throne was under threat and Egypt was in chaos. Enter Julius Caesar, Rome's most powerful general. The two met, and in a move straight out of a Hollywood movie, they formed an alliance. Cleopatra and Caesar were not just partners in politics, but also in romance. Together they pushed back her enemies and secured her position as queen. Caesar's influence brought stability to Egypt, and Cleopatra's charm won Caesar's heart. This dynamic duo reshaped the ancient world and left a legacy that echoes through history. So next time you think about powerful alliances, remember Cleopatra and Caesar, the ultimate power couple of ancient times. Cleopatra, the original girl boss of ancient Egypt. Cleopatra wasn't just a pretty face. She was a genius who spoke 9 languages. She became queen at 18 and ruled Egypt with brains and charisma. Forget diamonds, Cleopatra knew her best accessory was her intelligence. And yes, she did roll herself up in a carpet to meet Julius Caesar. Talk about a grand entrance. She even formed an alliance with Mark Antony to try and save Egypt from Roman domination. Cleopatra's life was a blend of diplomacy, romance, and a dash of drama. So next time you think about Cleopatra, remember, she was more than just a historical icon. She was a powerhouse.
If your history book says Cleopatra's sister's skull was found, it's time for a rewrite. Cleopatra's life was full of drama, but did you know her sister Arsinoe IV was also in the mix? They fought for power, and Arsinoe even declared herself queen. But here's the twist. A skull found in Ephesus in 1929, long thought to be Arsinoe's, has just been revealed to belong to a young boy. Yep, recent DNA analysis shattered this historical myth. So what happened to Arsinoe? Still a mystery. Cleopatra's tale just got a lot more intriguing, didn't it? Stay tuned for more historical revelations.